I'm going to ask everyone to stay back from these. These are very explosive products. If you touch them, you might shake them and create activation. And no one knows when this bomb is set to go off. Right? Well, we want to give that about 10 minutes to work. Most people driving up to a gas filling station usually spend a minute or two, if they're on the fast move, like trying to get to the end of the 500 race. They're going to spend some time filling up, about a minute or two, and that fuel is going to be in there for about 10 minutes, right? So we're going to give it about 10 minutes to work, be very active as far as removing the carbon from the inside of the injectors or valves. And in the meantime, Ronica here, good friend of mine, blowing up a balloon, we're going to show you how the oil is magnetically charged with a polar molecule. It is attached to any form of metal. So just to show that, I'm going to drive a needle, loud explosion, right? So we're going to create another style of understanding how that our magnetically charged oil works when it seals up the insides of O-rings, gaskets, you name it. So what I'm showing you is not just the needle, but look at the oil ring on the outside of that needle. So when a chemistry teacher teaches you that you can do the exact same thing with olive oil, then bring the test to the table as you can see the oil on the outside of the test. This here is actual magnetically charged oil, so that when you have a leaky seal or gasket in a very salty climate, like on the West Coast, that's the reason that Harry Conklin designed this oil in the first place, was to seal up those leather gaskets that when the dry air and the salt would hit it, it would dry them out. And it will increase your fuel economy because it eliminates wear and extend the life of your engine. How many times? Ben Welch is telling us, in fact, I seen here yesterday that Ben Welch's odometer reads 910,000 original miles on that Suburban. You guys see that? That's outstanding, right? So Ben Welch is a hero of mine because he never gives up. It's like the value of a smile. How many of us understand the value of a smile? It doesn't cost a thing, but it's worth more than anything you can ever give. And most people challenge it because when they're walking through town, they're like, yeah, I'm just about getting there, and someone's looking at him and he's like, man, could I just give him a lift, and that's how we feel. We want to get behind someone and give them just a little lift in life, but at the same time, there's none of us that remember the value of a smile. So just smile and pretty soon that guy, he's like, oh yeah, I ain't got that much pain. Pretty soon it's like, okay, well, it's not no big deal. So we go on through life, right? How many of us will care to challenge ourselves? It's inside of ourselves. A little push, It's the robin, the mother sitting at the nest, the baby nudges them out. How's it go? The first land is boop, and pretty soon they get back up and they're like, that ain't so bad. Day later, what happens? A little nourishment. You got to nourish your team. And then they get up and they start flying around and like, hey, I can do this exact same thing. So it's duplication, it's the multiplier effect. So every time you go out and duplicate yourself, you're creating that ripple or that wave. It's the multiplier effect. That's what Conklin is. Right, Andrew? I honestly believe that everyone that has the multiplier effect as a mindset, as a goal, is willing to nudge the next person, just go a little further. The next time, pretty soon, the wave is so simple, it's like the geese flying in a line. If everybody does their course, how easy is it to keep just moving on? The next thing we want to show you is the diet. We're going to go over to the sink. Yes. Okay, you gotta have that. Engine don't run real fast. Hey, that brings something interesting to my mind. So there's 4 traits of every human being, and I picked this up on Dave Kaufman call. How many of you guys know about the Dave Kaufman call? It's a very, very good call. He's a leader of most Amish and Mennonite businesses. So he says there's 4 traits of every human being. Every one of us has all 4 traits in him. So I'm going to put it in a very soft layman term so that we can all understand it. So if you're the minority of the 4 traits, the minority is the activist, the guy that's out there working. It's the minimum wage guy. He's out there, he's working. He's no time for play. You know, he's just out there really getting it. He makes between $20,000 and $40,000. That's a common, yearly income. The next trait is the guy that's the manager. He looks over all these employees. He's keeping everybody in line, and hey, you move over here, and he keeps everybody in line. And he makes between $40,000 and $125,000 a year. That's the second trait. That's the mindset of management. The third is the director. The guy that he designs some of the arts and the motto and the motivation of the manager that creates activation for all the team, keeping these workers all going. He makes sure that the bylaws and the laws and the permits and everything's in place. But as we understand the Bible, God created man in the image of himself. He was an imaginator. That's the 4th trait. So the 3rd trait is making between $1,125,000 and $1 million a year. That's the director's income. I mean, not bad for a director, right? All he does is keep everybody in place and make sure that the rights, the do's and don'ts are in place, right? But the imaginator, so if you're sitting behind the business, you're the one that designed the business, you're the one that runs the business, and so you're doing actually all 4, but you eliminate yourself from at least 2. You're making between $1 million and $3 million a year being the imaginator. And God created every man. So if we can just imagine something and then put action behind it, and little self-disciplines, and create real life, activity, I'm going to tell you that $1 to $3 million a year is minimum what an imaginator makes. So Dave says if you'll cut out at least 2 of those 4 traits in your life, he says it's not going to happen in the first year or the second year, but if you'll give it a 3 to 5 year goal to become only 2 of those 4, you will be making double in those 2 traits. So if you're the imaginator and the worker, fathom this: between $1 and $3 million and $20,000 to $40,000 a year, he says you're making between $2 and $5 million a year. Not a bad income for someone that's actually out there working and imagining before he puts it into action. So, are you ready, Veronica? Well, you holding a tooth? You gonna brush your teeth? Oh, geez. So here we go. We're going to show you how to stop up a leaky radiator with a little water representing a bad leak. We want to see if about 5 toothbrush full. Does anyone be able to see that? Can you see that okay?
Hold on.
Can you see the water?
Yeah.
Go up to the trim.
Yeah.
Okay, a very bad leak. Let's see if 5 toothbrush full will stop up a bad leak like that there. That's There's 5.
It's all drained out.
For anyone that's skeptical, it stays equally emulsified in the water, fully suspended in itself. So it's all in there. Bad leak. So you've seen how bad that is leaking. So the reason it's called temporary is if we flush it, rinse it like we're supposed to once a year, flush it, and put clean radiator fluid in there. So I want you guys to do a quick math Can you see the leak now? So, a friend of mine told me that based on the price of a radiator, and our product costing $8 a bottle per dime. He says based on a 10-year period with his little S10, he says he still feels like he's ahead. The reason this is called temporary is because we didn't actually solder any holes. We just plugged them. Get by. It actually works better under pressure. And so, based on a 10-year period, at $8 per bottle, one bottle per year, 10 years is $80. He says the cheapest radiator I could find at a scrapyard was $120. And he said it only took me a minute to put it in. He says, so temporary means until you can afford to fix it, right?
Absolutely.
How do you see temporary? So, based on working with the Conklin products, why have these here become above and beyond standards? Because the people not only use them, but use them correctly every time. Unless we have a spray, like a spray bottle, that'd be the end of a couple demonstrations. We can talk about the ag products. Yes, do you have something like it? Time bomb. Gee. So the 4-power G. So the vehicle's made it back out on the road. The carbon on that test strip not only stopped where the liquid level. What's your name?
Conrad?
Conrad?
Yes.
Have you been back here all this time?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
I am just not certain, Ben. Someone's been up there shaking these bottles. As you can see, it's like way up all the ways to the top. Do you see that? See how that liquid, it creeped all the way to the top. Strip that loose. Same way with the diesel fill.
There you go.
Fantastic.
It's a Mox spray bottle.
Yeah, Mox works. So just to show you how it stripped off the carbon off the diesel. What we're doing by removing, a lot of people say, well, what good's that do? Most people are not mechanics. They just drive an engine, right? Put fuel in it, a little oil, or go to the oil change, and it's like, okay, do whatever it takes. I don't know what I need, but the odometer is saying I've already went another 3,000 miles. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Likewise, in the farming industry, we are farming variables. Variable is whatever happens, however the outcome is, that's all I've got, and I cannot improve myself. I can improve myself if I evaluate. If we take a chart, and it's like playing baseball. If we have a chart on